Okay, so what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to grind off the welds of these fabricated engine mounts that somebody else tried to do a while back. I need to just grind out the welds, pull them off, and clean them up because we're going to use the factory Dakota spring purchase. Well, there's one. The other one won't be so bad. Hole right through it. The sparks are hot. Look at that. Oof. Dang. All right, I just got done using a wire wheel on the frame, and all this surface rust came off pretty easily with the good wire wheel. It's a wire wheel that's actually on my grinder. I actually got this from Harbor Freight. Extremely effective. I've got it down to bare metal. I'm gonna wipe it down with some oil until I'm ready to paint it. But I'm super happy with that purchase because it took care of this frame pretty easily. Had a little bit of trouble disassembling the steering shaft, but I got it done. On a 92, it has these roll pins in it, and they were not easy to get out, but I got them out, got it moved so I could get in there real good, get it all nice and clean. I got all those old welds cleaned up, and I'll be painting it here this weekend. So making good progress. I just got done brushing on this KBS coating. This stuff is like liquid powder coat. It's crazy. I did it on my Bel Air and I had some left over, so I felt like I should probably do the Dakota too. It looks great. So I'm gonna let it dry, and we're ready to get it up to get the motor in it. Okay, we're back at it today. I just pulled the 4L60 off of the back of the motor so that I can put the Turbo 400 that I bought on. So I'm gonna put it onto the motor. There's not a converter in it or anything right now. But once that's done, we're gonna put the motor in place with the factory Dakota motor mounts. And then we're gonna mark it and drill out the holes. It'll make sense once it's kind of all in there and we show you that process. We found out while trying to install the factory motor mounts within the frame purchase that the ears on the frame purchase have actually been bent in over time. So Tommy made a tool out of all thread and 2 nuts and washers that when ran opposing each other would spread the ears back out to where they need to be so that factory motor mount can fit down in there like it was designed to do. Nice. Alright, so put the motor mounts in, and then we're gonna drop the plates on it and then mark where they go and then drill holes in the plates. And Tommy's already done cleaned up the plates and got them trimmed up, and we're ready to go. It's exciting. Oh God. Okay, we ran into a problem. We have an oil pan, as you can see down there, that's for a 2007 and up 5.3. We later found out that the oil pan that was on the 5.3 already was actually a CTSV LSA oil pan, which is way too long to actually fit in between the crossmember and the firewall. So we did find a 2002 to 2006 Chevy truck 5.3 oil pan. I'll post the part number so you can see them. The truck oil pan is the one to use in this swap. So if you're going to be planning to do this, make sure that you're using a regular stock 5.3 oil pan, because it is short enough to actually fit in between the crossmember and the firewall without causing any issues. It only hangs low about maybe 3/4 of an inch, if not a half an inch. So it actually fits really well. Come to find out, the oil pans for 2002 to 2006 is 2 inches shorter. So we actually got a friend that might have one, and he's gonna come over and we're gonna pull the motor back out so we can throw the pan on and see if that works. Because right now we're 2 inches off here from getting this motor mount to work, and that's all we need. So let's see if we can't get that figured out, and this motor will be in after that. So we're real close, just gotta wait for the right parts. We're getting there. Well, once we got the motor in place, we sat the plates down on top of the factory motor mounts and scribed out around them to find out their placement. For the passenger side motor mount, we are actually able to use a common mounting location for the bottom right bolt hole. For the bottom left bolt hole, we created a small notch in the motor mount itself that would be able to be captured with a large washer. So we didn't actually have to drill any additional holes in their passenger side motor mount on the bottom. Once we had those lined up, we drilled one hole in the top for the top mounting location, as you can see here. The driver's side was not quite as easy, as we had to drill 3 different mounting locations within the plate that bolts to the engine. One thing that we have not done yet is we're going to have to countersink 2 mounting bolts. One bolt is going to go from the outside of the engine plate into the engine, and one bolt is going to come from the inside of the engine plate that will capture the very front bottom location on the motor mount. If that sounds confusing, don't worry, we're going to cover that on another episode soon. Well, it was super late and super cold when we got done the other night, so the truck is I got the truck back to my house. The motor is in and mounted up, so I wanted to show you guys the final product. Gonna have to still pull it back out because I don't have a torque converter in it, and I've got to put the pickup tube for the oil pan on it, and then paint the motor mounts. But here we go. Let me give you an idea what it looks like. So that's the plates, and then these are factory Dakota motor mounts that are bolted to the plates. This is the driver's side. I still have to countersink from the back side this way for this one, and countersink from another bolt hole that goes into the block. But you can see there, it's looks really, really good. Look underneath it. You can barely see the oil pan. It's maybe 3/4 of an inch below the cross member, which you could put a piece of square tubing there if you're worried about like wheelies and hitting stuff, but there's actually plenty of room. And then here's the passenger side, and it looks really, really good. This is the one where we're able to use 2 of the same bolt holes that bolt to the LS block, and then we just drilled that one at the top up there. But it looks great. And so just so you guys can see, there's tons of room between the pan and the rack. Tons of room, tons of clearance, and good amount of space between the steering column and the head surface. You can see there's plenty of room between the intake manifold and the firewall. And believe it or not, you can still get to all the transmission bell housing bolts. There's plenty of room there. And right now I got a jack under it because I don't have the transmission mounted up yet, which I'm going to be working on, but it's not going to hang any lower than the frame. You can't even see it there, so that's really, really good. Another peek at the bottom of the oil pan. And, super happy with the way it turned out. Again, this stuff will come back off so we can finish it all up, and the motor will come back out one more time, but there it is. It looks awesome. I can't wait to be done with it. Just a note, the drivetrain in these vehicles is offset a good amount, 4 inches to the passenger side, and that's actually how they were designed. Not sure why, but if you look at the transmission cross member, the mounting bolts on that are also moved over, and so is the rear end where the drive shaft goes. But that's it, guys. Actually, I did a couple more things since it's been sitting here. I got the brakes all hooked up and bled, so now I have brakes. When I had the frame apart, I cleaned all the brake lines and wire wheeled them and got them all nice and pretty looking. You can kind of see them down there. And then I sanded and painted the firewall. The fenders are next, but I'm going to get it running before I worry about more aesthetics. But looking real good. Another cool thing I found out is the power steering hose, the stock one for a Dakota, fits into the one on a early 2000 Chevy 5.3. So that line works great. No fabrication, so that's going to be awesome. Well, that's going to be it for this one. On the next episode, I hope to be able to work on the transmission mount and show you guys how we're going to mount that. It's actually pretty simple, just a couple drilling of holes that we need to do, and I need to make a strap, and I'll explain that when we get to it. Other than that, I need to measure for a drive shaft and then get some more parts ordered, but it's going really well. So hopefully before too long we'll have this thing final mounted in place and we can work on wiring and fuel system and getting it up and running. So y'all stay tuned if you're interested in doing this yourself, because I should be getting the final pieces here in the next couple episodes. So thanks for hanging around. If you're liking this, please give us a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to our channel, and you're going to see a lot more cool stuff, especially with this LS Swap Dakota. So drag week, maybe this year, we'll see. Until next time though, y'all be good.